King, out of heaven myself.
I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I feel so guilty about what's happened. I can't forgive myself.
To get John chapter 11 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *965#.
I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. John chapter 11, verse 25.
To get John chapter 11, dial *811 *965#. To get John chapter 11, dial *811 *965#.
Banki imeconfirm pesa zimeingia. Congratulations Sam, gari ni lako sasa.
Shukran. Oi boss, suniache insurance yako nitumie kabla nijipange.
We, insurance ya gari haiwezi kuwa transferred kwa mtu mwingine.
Sina habari na nikuulize, hii comprehensive insurance inakava vitu gani?
Comprehensive motor insurance inakava gari linapoharibika wakati wa ajali pamoja na uharibifu wa mali ya mtu mwingine, gari likiibiwa au likichomeka. Pia inakava passenger wa gari lako na passenger wa lile gari lingine kunapotokea ajali.
Kwani umenisahau mimi kama driver?
Dereva hakui cover na comprehensive insurance, ila anajitafutia personal accident cover.
Umenichanua. Rose,
Yes.
hata nishughulikie hiyo insurance, nitakujia gari kesho.
Okay, sawa.
It's the 5th day of the 6th month, the year 2022, and the 5th presidential aspirant was cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Azimio la Umoja presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga, of course, is now set to go ahead and make his 5th attempt to become the country's next president. We got details about how his clearance process was like and also what he had to say to his supporters moments after he got that clearance certificate at a series of campaign rallies he led in the country. And also on the Kenya Kwanza wing, what were they up to in Kiambu County? Details of that contained in our comprehensive news bulletin that begins right now. But first, here is our top stories. Raila Odinga given the nod by IEBC to be Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate. Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate Deputy President William Ruto promises to reduce the cost of living for Kenyans. And beating the odds, partners come to the rescue of a dilapidated school in Laikipia County. All right, once again, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Achieng Oma, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Susan Thuku. Now, on to our top story. Raila Odinga will be on the ballot as the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate after being cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to vie for the 9th of August general election. Raila was the 5th presidential candidate to be given the green light by IEBC chair and presidential returning officer Wafula Chebukati. Accompanied by his running mate Martha Karua, Raila, who is making a 5th attempt at the presidency, expressed confidence that IEBC will conduct free, fair and credible elections.
At around 8:30 a.m. Sunday, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance Brigade, led by its flag bearer Raila Odinga, attended a church service at All Saints Cathedral, Nairobi.
The house of God is a house of prayer, and we want to thank God that even as those who are seeking leadership acknowledge that it is through God's door that leadership can be attained.
About 2 hours later, the leaders arrived at the Bomas of Kenya, accompanied by supporters. Raila, flanked by his proposer and seconder, then presented his credentials to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission panel for clearance.
And I approve the nomination of Raila Odinga.
Upon receipt of his certificate, Raila immediately acknowledged the Commission's capacity to conduct free, fair and credible elections.
We want Kenyans to be able, on the 9th of August, to freely express their will, to speak clearly, and this is what the Kenyans want. I just want to reiterate that the Commission is focused on giving Kenyans a free, fair and credible election.
Raila called on Azimio la Umoja supporters to steer off violence during the electioneering period, as he urged the media, whom he says have so far been impartial, to uphold objectivity in reporting.
Where there's freedom of expression, the media can censor, the media can critique, the media can educate, the media can also oppose. So we really have no issue with that. And I urge our supporters not to interfere or to try to defecate any billboards or publicity material belonging to our opponents.
The coalition has picked Saitabao Ole Kanchori as its chief agent, assisted by Nyeri Deputy Governor Caroline Karugu, Professor Isaiah Wakindiki, Dr. Odror Ongwen, and lawyer Paul Mwangi. Independent candidate George Munyota, who also presented his credentials Sunday, did not sail through, and the same fate befell Third Way Alliance Party presidential aspirant Ekuru Aukot. IEBC also rejected independent candidate Peter King'ori's reapplication. King'ori had presented his credentials on day 1 of the exercise last Sunday and was told to resubmit his documents. So far, IEBC has cleared 5 candidates to contest the presidency on August 9th. They are Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition's candidate Raila Odinga, UDA's candidate Deputy President William Ruto, Umoja Summit candidate Walter Mung'are, Agano Party's candidate David Mwaure Waihiga, and Roots Party's candidate Professor George Wajakoya. Those scheduled to present their documentation for clearance on Monday are Jimmy Wanjigi of Serfine Party, independent candidate Muthiora Kiriara, and Njeru Kathangu of Ford Asili. Adherence to the Electoral Code of Conduct remains the central message by IEBC to the candidates as the Commission prepares to conclude the exercise Monday, with 3 aspirants set to present their credentials. Kamche Menza for Sunday Express at the Bomas of Kenya, Nairobi.
Now let's stay with news from the Bomas of Kenya. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition presidential candidate Raila Odinga now wants the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to come clean on a myriad of issues concerning the August 9th general election. Among the issues raised is whether the electoral body has developed constitutionally compliant paths in electronic identification of voters and transmission of results. Raila also probed the status of the voters register and its preliminary audit report.
With about 64 days to the August polls, presidential candidates are keen to ensure that Kenyans go to the ballot on a clean slate. On Sunday, after he was cleared to vie for presidency, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition presidential candidate Raila Odinga gave a 10-point list of concerns on IEBC's preparedness ahead of the August polls. Top on the list was the electronic identification of voters and transmission of results.
What we want to know is, has the Commission developed constitutionally compliant protocols, the results transmission path for the polling station, the National Tallying Center? 2. When will the Commission share the said protocol?
Odinga also queried the integrity of the voters' register, a concern that UDA's presidential candidate Deputy President William Ruto also raised shortly after he was cleared on Saturday.
What is the status of the voter registration exercise on a county-by-county and constituency-by-constituency basis?
Raila further sought clarification on the preliminary report on the audit of the register.
Is the preliminary report by the audit firm ready? If so, what are the preliminary findings? 2. When is the draft final report of audits of register of voters expected?
We have done what we believe needs to be done to give Kenyans what they deserve, a free, fair and credible election. And all the issues you have raised, and I'm happy you have raised them, the Commission has answers to all of them.
IEBC says it has adhered to the election timelines as required by law ahead of the polls.
A simulation of the dry run of technology will be done next week on or before 9th. Here at Bomas and your representatives, you have given us a team.
According to the Commission, all presidential candidates will be engaged in verifying measures taken on the concerns raised. Kamche Menza for Sunday Express.
All right, and moving this forward, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga says his manifesto will detail how he intends to tackle illiteracy, disease and poverty, the three main challenges he feels are derailing Kenya's development. Raila, who will launch the coalition's vision declaration on Monday, made the announcement on Sunday in Nakuru County, where the coalition held a series of rallies after receiving the clearance certificate from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chair Ofula Chebukati. Gishuki Washira reports.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party flag bearer Raila Odinga kicked off his presidential bid campaigns at Mazembe grounds in Nakuru County, hours after being cleared to seek the country's top seat. Raila, who will be on the ballot for the 5th time, used the platform to explain the roadmap the coalition party will adopt to achieve economic revolution in the country if elected.
Kesho tutazindua manifesto ya Azimio ambayo itaonyesha kirasmi hatua ambayo tutachukua kufufua uchumi wa taifa la Kenya. Tulisema adui iko 3: ugonjwa, ujinga na umaskini.
An enhanced healthcare program and social protection kitty for the vulnerable members of the society are some of the pledges made by the former premier and his running mate Martha Karua.
Tunaleta vile vile ile kazi mtaani kwa vijana ambao hawana kazi, na tutajenga viwanda ili vijana wapate ajira sawa sawa.
Leaders accompanying Raila Odinga described him as the true patriot among the presidential candidates.
Tukiona Mheshimiwa Raila hapa na Mheshimiwa Martha Karua wanararua umaskini yote, wanararua ufisadi yote.
Wamama muelewe, huyu ni mama kama nyinyi. Shida zenu hatutasahau. Wazee muelewe, sisi ndio tunamchunga. Kwa hivyo nikiwa hapo na baba iko hapo, shida zenu hatuwezi sahau.
Earlier in the day, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party also held a rally at Undugu grounds in Lang'ata constituency, Nairobi. Gishuki Washira, Sunday Express.
All right, and now let's also look at the other side of the divide. The Kenya Kwanza Aside, Deputy President William Ruto took the Kenya Kwanza Alliance campaigns to Kiambu County, where he reiterated commitment to implement the bottom-up economic model if Kenyans give him the mandate to lead the country. Ruto, who was in the company of other coalition leaders, attended a church service at the ACK St. Paul Mother Church Parish in Kabete before making stopovers in Uthiru, Dagoretti and Riruta.
A day after getting clearance from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to vie for the presidency on a United Democratic Alliance ticket, Deputy President William Ruto pitched camp in Kiambu County to popularize the bottom-up economic model. In the first stop at ACK St. Paul Mother Church Parish in Kabete, Ruto said he will build an all-inclusive administration if elected to office.
Tukishirikiana, tukifanya kazi pamoja, we can have a nation that leaves nobody behind, that we can work with together. Tumekubaliana.
Afterwards, Ruto, accompanied by leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, made stopovers at Uthiru, Dagoretti and Riruta, where the same message was relayed.
Wale wote ambao utanunua nyumba kwa mara ya kwanza, tutahakikisha ya kwamba interest ya kulipa hiyo mortgage yako haitazidi 5%. Unajua hii kura tunaenda ni kura ya uchumi. Huyu William Ruto ako na mpango wa kubadilisha uchumi, tuteremshe bei ya vyakula.
Sisi lengo letu ni kubadilisha uchumi. Hapo ndio lengo letu, si ndio?
Ruto, who is seeking the presidency for the first time, called for peaceful elections, urging the electorate to shun any acts of violence before, during and after elections. Yusufar reporting for Sunday Express.
The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops Chairman Archbishop Martin Kivuva has lauded the move by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC to disqualify aspirants with questionable integrity from contesting in the forthcoming polls. The Archdiocese of Mombasa Archbishop says the country needs leaders with integrity whose service to Kenyans will be devoid of selfish interests. While officiating the annual Pentecostal Sunday in Mombasa, Kivuva urged Kenyans to elect sober leaders whose true intent is to promote unity and cohesion in the country. Juni Karisa Mbele with that report.
While presiding over the Pentecostal Sunday at the Holy Ghost Cathedral in Mombasa, KCCB Chair Archbishop Martin Kivuva took the chance to send a message of peace and harmony as Kenyans prepare to head to the ballot in 2 months' time.
Mkenya ulipo, tambua una jukumu muhimu sana kupigania amani, kutetea amani na kuwa mwana amani popote ulipo, hata katika familia.
The Archdiocese of Mombasa Archbishop lauded IEBC for barring aspirants with integrity issues.
Tunahitaji watu waadilifu, tunahitaji watu ambao wana sera za kusaidia na kuhusisha watu maendeleo, sio tu mambo ya yeye mwenyewe nipate cheo.
Kivuva further argued that politicians are to blame for poll-related violence and urged them to accept defeat without inciting their supporters to conflict.
Mwanasiasa, ukiona umeshindwa au unaelekea kushindwa, ukiamua kung'atuka si woga. Kumbuka jinsi unavyokazia kuhonga watu labda au kushinikiza majambazi, majangili, kuunda vikundi, ndio inazidi kuzorotesha nchi yetu ya Kenya katika mambo ya kujenga nidhamu kati ya watu.
He further called for peace in clash-prone areas, urging the government to be nonetheless humane in its security operations to pacify those regions.
Kwa nini mgoje mpaka majeshi aje kuwasumbua? Tafadhalini, put down your weapons. Amueni kwamba vita vya kijadi ambazo ni kwa sababu ya labda ng'ombe nini, ni mambo yaliyopitwa na wakati. Na kama kuna sababu zinginezo, mna wazee wanaweza kuketi na nyinyi mkajaribu kutatua.
Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County.
All right, thank you, Janae, for that. Now, we're just about to take a break, but when we come back, we are going to be taking you a little bit later in the course of this broadcast to Laikipia County. Our reporter Yusuf Farah tracked how a thorny plant known as Opuntia is causing such a nightmare for pastoralist community in that area. So what is being done and how have they been affected by this? We got an interesting feature coming up your way later. Stay with us. But for now, we take a short break. We are back with much more.
Hii ng'ombe ni yako. Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha. Chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno unasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuonekana mtu anataka process ya kuchukua insurance kapa yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na kapa ya gari yangu. Kwanza unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe. Na kama haujui kusoma, uijaze na mtu mwingine. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia thibitisha insurance cover imeangalia maslahi yako. Na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako. Sasa wacha nianze hiyo process. By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form, uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio thibitisho ya kuwa una bima.
Don't talk like this on our wedding night, all right?
Wedding night?
Are you willing to follow my lead? Destroy those damn Celestials so we can rule? I'll drag the Heavenly King out of heaven myself.
I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I feel so guilty about what's happened. I can't forgive myself.
都是假象。
All right, and now on to more politics. Residents of Migori County have been urged, residents of Migori County, let me just take you through that story again. Residents of Migori County have been urged to be wary of leaders who may want to incite them to violence during the electioneering period. Speaking during the commissioning of 3 new divisions in Kuria East and West State Department of Social Protection, Principal Secretary Nelson Marwa cautioned area politicians against divisive politics and instead encouraged them to preach peace during this political campaign period. He urged residents to coexist peacefully during and after elections. We'll bring you that story later. Now, several governors and other politicians seeking various seats in the forthcoming elections have been registered to vie for gubernatorial seats in different counties across the country. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, among those given the nod by IEBC, include Garissa Governor Ali Korani, Bomet Governor Professor Hilary Barchok, Stanley Kiptis of Baringo, former Lamu Governor Issa Timami, and former Rongo Member of Parliament Dalmas Otieno in Migori County.
Garissa Governor Ali Korane has been cleared to defend his seat in the August polls by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. The commission has also authorized Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok to defend his seat on a United Democratic ticket. In Baringo County, Governor Stanley Kiptis is set to battle it out with former Governor Benjamin Cheboi and Eldama Ravine Member of Parliament Moses Lesonet.
Sisi ambao tunaomba kura tuendelesheni mambo yetu kwa njia ya amani na kwa njia ya upendo.
In Kiambu County, Governor James Nyoro and former Governor William Kabogo have been given the green light to contest in the August polls.
I know that we as politicians want to have our way. And we want to ask questions and we want answers in the way we would expect them. But I think we also need to facilitate if we feel that there is one or two things that IEBC can be able to do in order to make them more efficient, let's help them. Let's not criticize them.
Make sure that we have a credible register and that we shall have a credible and peaceful election. And the will of the people will be reflected in the outcome of the elections.
Also on the ballot will be former Lamu Governor Issa Timami, who's seeking a return to the top county seat. Businessman Budotich Kiprop Elias Buzeki will have another stab at the Uasin Gishu gubernatorial seat in his bid to succeed outgoing Governor Jackson Mandago as an independent candidate.
IEBC wametupatia cheti. Kwa hivyo tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 niko kwa debe.
In Machakos County, 3 candidates have been cleared for the gubernatorial race. They are the county's Deputy Governor Francis Maliti, former Chief Administrative Secretary Wavinya Ndeti, and United Democratic Alliance Chair Johnston Mudhama.
Nataka watu wa Machakos wanichague ili niendeleze maendeleo hapa Machakos.
In Laikipia, the incumbent governor Ndiritu Murithi of Jubilee will square it out with Joshua Irungu of UDA, Gitonga Kabugi of NARC Kenya, and Buru Kamau, an independent candidate.
We want to encourage the competition. Let's have a competition of ideas. You know, kuna haja you go around smearing your competitors' name or image.
Mtu auze sera zake, mwingine aongeleshe wananchi, wananchi ndio wataamua.
Nitaomba wana Laikipia na wananchi wote ya kwamba tungeomba tufanye campaign ya amani.
Elsewhere, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has cleared former East Africa Community and Regional Development Cabinet Secretary Adan Mohamed to run for the Mandera gubernatorial seat. In Migori County, former Rongo Member of Parliament Dalmas Otieno has been registered as a contender in gubernatorial race on a Jubilee ticket. And in Busia County, outgoing Nambale Member of Parliament John Bunyasi has been given a go-ahead by the Wafula Chebukati-led commission to contest as a governor in Busia. In Nairobi, Kayole Central Member of County Assembly Jeremiah Karani has been approved to defend his seat.
Wacha watu waende na shughuli zao za biashara zao na kazi zao bila mtu yoyote kurushia mtu kidore. Sababu hii uchaguzi unakuja na unaenda, lakini Kenya yetu itadumu.
While in Nyandarua, County Assembly Speaker Ndegwa Wahome will be in the gubernatorial contest.
When we address the issue of corruption, there will be a potato processing plant and a milk processing plant within 2 years, running fully operational and employing our youth and the people of this county.
For Sunday Express, I'm Zainab Said.
All right, thank you, Zainab, for that. Now, Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa has downplayed calls for cabinet secretaries to keep off politics. According to the CS, the role of CSs is premised on implementation of manifestos of the ruling political regime, and as such, they are exempted from observing political neutrality. Serfine Achieng with samples of these events and others that made headlines. Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa was in the Coast region to reinforce support for candidates cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to fly the DAPK party flag for various seats in the 2022 general election. Wamalwa used the platform to downplay criticism of cabinet secretaries accused of politicking.
Sheria ya uongozi na maadili, Leadership and Integrity Act, kipengee cha 23 chasema ya kwamba tuwe na political neutrality kwa wale wafanyikazi wa umma isipokuwa mawaziri. Kwa nini mawaziri wametofautishwa na wale wafanyikazi wa umma wengine? Sababu wewe ukiwa waziri unatekeleza manifesto ya chama. It's a political manifesto. Ukiwa waziri kazi yako ni kubuni sera na vile vile unasimamia utekelezaji wa sera hizo.
He also called for political sobriety and tolerance in this electioneering period.
Tunataka uchaguzi huu wa mwezi wa 8 tarehe 9 uwe uchaguzi wa amani.
This even as Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Karanja Kibisho vowed to sustain efforts to safeguard peace during the election. Kibicho, who was speaking at ACK St. Mary's Kiangima Girls Secondary School in Embu West Sub-County
affirmed that the government will ensure security is beefed up in this political season.
We are there. We are watching. And you have seen every time we have an opportunity to take stern action on these people who are inciting our people, we are not taking a minute to do so. We are going to tighten as we go on and as the political temperatures rise.
Elsewhere, Garissa Township Member of Parliament Aden Duale is challenging the National Intelligence Service to keep off politics in exercising their mandate of safeguarding national security.
So the function of the National Intelligence Service, a professional, non-partisan organization, is well documented in the Constitution, Article 241, and the National Intelligence Service Act. They don't conduct pollsters. They don't conduct opinion polls. They don't share intelligence in the public, in televisions, and in rallies.
NCIA Senator James Orengo led an ODM political rally in Busia town where he called on residents to support Raila Odinga's presidential bid to secure a win in the first round.
Tunataka tupige kura, hakuna kurudia kura, hakuna kwenda kotini. Tunataka on the 10th, saa 4 August, mimi Raila Amolo Odinga.
Busia County gubernatorial aspirant Paul Otuoma on his part pledged to prioritize the war against corruption if elected to succeed Governor Sospita Ojamong.
Lakini ikiwa wewe ni mufisadi, ikiwa wewe ni ghost worker, ikiwa wewe ni unaibanga madawa kwa hospitali, your days are numbered, my friend.
Right, now away from politics. Imagine your child having to walk for 10 kilometers to school. Imagine this child having to learn in a dilapidated classroom that has gaping holes on the walls with no windows or doors. This is the reality of pupils in a school in Laikipia County. Poor infrastructure in the school has contributed to low performance and prolonged absenteeism as children here face untold challenges in their quest for education. Our editor Caroline Kamau brings you the story of Mumbo Primary School and efforts being made by education stakeholders in the area to change this narrative.
Located in Laikipia North Olmoran Division is Mumbo Primary School. The institution has a population of 224 pupils and hosts children from the early childhood education through to standard 8. Like many other schools in this area, Mumbo has faced the challenge of inadequate classrooms, lack of latrines, and water shortage, which has had a negative impact on the academic performance and retention of pupils.
When pupils are in the classes, most of the time, since there are holes in the classes, they are looking outside. So even concentration cannot be there.
Hata tuko na maji, tulikuwa na shida kubwa. Kunawa mikono hatukuwa tunanawa mikono. Kitambo tulikuwa tunaitisha wazazi, wanaweza leta ama wakosa. Wasipoleta watoto awali, hawakunywi maji ama mtoto ilikuwa inabidi abebe.
Has appealed to voters in Kilifi County to rally behind her campaign for Governor Jumo. Says if elected in August, she will work tirelessly to transform the county and economically empower locals. The lawmaker, who spoke exclusively to KBC Channel 1, said she will ensure devolution achieves its intended objective in Kilifi when she succeeds Governor Amason Kingi in August.
Early morning at the majestic home of Malindi Member of Parliament Aisha Jumo in Kakuyuni, Malindi constituency. We catch up with the mother of three just before she begins her busy schedule. Jumo has served as a lawmaker since 2013. Elected on an ODM ticket, Jumo has in the last few years drifted further from the party hierarchy and found a new home in UDA.
UDA iko juu kwa sababu inawagusa, sera yake inawagusa.
She insists her differences with Raila Odinga are purely professional.
There is nothing personal ya mimi na mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, isipokuwa tu maslahi ya watu wa Kilifi na Pwani.
She now wants to be the governor and believes that she has the best interest of Kilifi at heart.
Ukiona mwewe anavamia kifaranga, kwa lazima atakuwa mkali sana na atawafunika wale vifaranga wake. That is Aisha Jumo. Aisha Jumo amekatilili, alikataa mpaka akapiga mkofi Mwingereza. Kwa sababu gani? Alikuwa anataka kuliberate watu wake.
Jumo believes her alliance with the deputy president may be the root cause of most of her political troubles.
Mimi wakati nilikuwa nabembelezwa niingie Azimio, ofa ya kwanza niliyopewa ni kuambiwa kesi zako zitaondolewa. Sasa kama kweli ningekuwa mimi ni mhalifu, ningekuwa nimepewa hiyo ofa. Na nataka nikwambie June, mimi nilikataa hiyo ofa. Na nikawaambia hivi ninavyokuambia kwamba kama mimi kweli ni mhalifu, kama kweli mimi kuna jambo nimefanya, wacha kesi ziendelee mpaka either nikuwe convicted ama nikuwe vindicated.
Jumo says her candidature will inspire many young girls and women in the region.
Wanawake is my block vote. Block votes. Wachache hawatakosa hapa na pale, but majority of women in this county wana matumaini sana. They are looking at me as their role model. Yeah? You know me, I'm humble, very submissive when it comes to family, maneno. But when you cross my line, I'm a bit kidogo.
In the race to the August polls, Jumo is facing a political challenge mounted by the Orange Democratic Party ODM and the Pamoja African Alliance PA.
PA haisongi. Hata wakijaribu kufanya nini, haitasonga because chama ni mtu. I played a very big role in bringing one Amason Kingi to Kenya Kwanza. Na mheshimiwa Amason Jeffa Kingi nimemwomba kura yake kwa sababu najua ako na kura, and he will not vote for huyo governor wa PA. He will vote for Aisha Jumo because anajua kwamba this is the right person. Kwa sababu tunataka kuconsolidate kura zote. Mazungumzo yatazungumzwa na nina imani ya kwamba mimi nitakuwa mshindi. Kivumbi ambacho tulikipitisha 2017, players walikuwa ni sisi, mimi nikiwa mmoja wao. Hiyo inakwambia ODM itazama kama ilivyozama Jubilee.
She says that local politics notwithstanding, she will triumph in August and bring the much needed change to the residents and businesses in Kilifi County.
Watu wamemwamini Aisha Jumo kwa sababu akiongea si mtu ambaye akosheki. Wanangangana kunifikia lakini hawatanifikia, na nafurahi sana kwa sababu wananisindikiza. Miaka 10 hatuna cha kuchekea. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuanza upya kuboresha maisha na Aisha. A vote for Aisha is a vote for change.
Juni Karisa Mbele from Kilifi County.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Our arts and entertainment industry has evolved over the years.
It is at such times that our destinies are written. Will we rise up in courage or die in cowardice?
Who are the movie movers and shakers in film and theatre. Get trendy as we review locally produced films and stage drama every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on cinemas and theatre.
Brought to you by the Kenya Film Commission. Film Kenya. Capture Africa.
All right, and we continue with more news. Now, the World Environment Day was marked today with the annual celebration here in Kenya set to be marked tomorrow at Dedan Kimathi University in Nyeri. To mark the day here in Nairobi, St. Joseph and Mary Catholic Church in Shauri Moyo, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, and University of Nairobi engineering students undertook a tree planting exercise in their areas, appealing to Kenyans to help conserve the environment and resources available for future generations.
In preparations to mark the World Environment Day in Kenya, St. Joseph's and Mary Catholic Church, led by Father Victor Nayak, involved the church members in a cleanup and tree planting exercise. Father Victor Nayak said, "Nature is life," urging people to conserve the environment and also plant trees so as to prevent air pollution.
Today we are in danger because we are polluting the air. We are taking the poisonous air. As a result of that, we have so many diseases. So this is our responsibility now, is to take care of our nature so that we can live.
Elsewhere, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, together with the University of Nairobi engineering students, also engaged in a campaign dubbed Build a House, Plant a Tree, where they planted 50 indigenous tree species along the completed Red Hill Road project in Kiambu. Engineer Damaris Oyaro, a council member from the Institution of Members of Kenya, said tree planting will help reduce emission of poisonous gases to the environment.
Since there is traffic and vehicle, there is the methane emissions. So the planting of trees, we are showing that putting the plant cover, the tree covers, we are able to reduce the emissions to the environment, thus reducing the impacts and mitigating the climate change.
Weekly Fourth for Sunday Express.
All right, away from that now, Naibunga Upper Conservancy in Laikipia County is under threat from the thorny Opuntia plant. The plant, commonly known as the pricky pear or pear cactus, is fast spreading in the conservancy and replacing grass that is the main source of feed for livestock belonging to the pastoralist communities in the area. A tiny sap-sucking insect may just be the only hope for saving the region's livelihood. Our reporter Yusuf Farah spent time with the Naibunga Upper Conservancy and brings us the following story about this unique natural weapon against the invasive plant.
Laikipia County's Naibunga Upper Conservancy, a region densely populated by pastoralists with livestock being their main source of livelihood. Their livelihood is, however, under threat from a thorny invasive enemy, the Opuntia plant. Up close, this plant seems more of an aesthetic, and one wouldn't imagine the havoc this plant introduced by the British in the pre-colonial period, as fences for their land and overall beauty is causing in this region.
When this Opuntia came in, it totally now took over grazing fields. It colonized the grasslands. It inhibited growth of grasses that used to be there, the perennial grasses, and also the other adaptable grasses. So you found that the livestock didn't have anything else to feed on other than this Opuntia. And yes, this Opuntia is nutritive, but now it had other adverse effect to this livestock. You found out that it has caused mouth sores and also throats. And with time now, it has also clogged the intestines. And when the intestines are clogged, this livestock become emaciated and eventually die.
Where grass once grew, Opuntia has replaced it, and livestock here fall prey to its beauty and the juicy fruit it has as a replacement for the grass. This is, however, doing more harm than good.
We have lost a lot of stocks onto Opuntia,
You cannot sell them because their value is very low. You cannot sell them. You cannot even market them outside. So many people have become poor, such that they cannot even take their children to school. They just loiter around. They cannot even afford their daily meals because of this plant.
Inakaa kama chakula kwa muda, alafu inaenda ikimdhuru mpaka nakufa. Haisi kuwa ati inasaidia yeye kabisa. Kama siku 3-4 imepita, iko zingine 2 imekufa. Haya pande nyingine kuna ng'ombe imekufa. Sasa ng'ombe najua inaanguka haraka sababu ya njaa na hiyo kitu kuumiza. Kwa hivyo hawezi kumaliza siku 4 bila ng'ombe kukufa.
Northern Rangelands Trust sought a solution to prevent the spread of this invasive plant and was introduced to the cochineal insect, which was first used in South Africa. And in partnership with the community conservancy here, 6 greenhouses were established in this region.
So the white cotton candy-like thing is what they produce as a protective substance around them. So what the cochineal does is it sucks the sap from these fleshy leaves. These are fresh leaf, and as you can see, it just has very small manifestation of the cochineal. So what it does is it sucks the sap from the leaf, and with time it withers. So this leaf has already been infected. Like you can see, the purplish stuff is the cochineal after it has fed on it.
Among others, elephants have been identified as super spreaders of the plant during their feeding and movement, and this has become a hindrance to the success of the efforts to rid this region of the prickly bear.
Ikaanza kuwa na wanyama kama ndugu wanaingia huko ndani wanakula, sasa wakatawanya ika spread mali yote.
Other plants are not doing well because they observe a lot of water, so it dominates places, and it also can grow anywhere. We have blind animals back at home. You can see some of the goats that are totally blind, cows, and also some that cannot graze due to the affection of the lips and also the tongues. They just, you can see their mouths cannot move, they cannot graze anymore.
Despite these challenges, the women of this conservancy, who are paid by Northern Rangelands Trust, visit this greenhouse every 2 weeks to take freshly infested opuntia, which is coated with a cotton candy-like substance. The infected ones are placed at the base of the healthy cacti, and wind transfers the flightless insects to adjacent plants to allow fresh infestation. The sap-sucking insect feeds on the plant to its complete decomposition.
When now the virus consumes the sap, the plants become like this. It dries totally and it dies. And now when it now dies, it just spreads on the ground by itself, having no any other much effects to livestock and human beings.
It is working very nicely, especially in dry season. Like you visit some places like just the 40 acres of Twala, we actually eradicated completely because we can cut and also dig to get the roots, and then we place in one place, and then we take the cochineal and put on top of it, and it completely dry off.
Women involvement in this project has been a game changer for us because it's been very easy to involve women in this process. One, because they were readily available and they're also passionate about this project. And when these livestock come back home in the evening, it's the women's time that are taken when they're removing the clotches from the eyes, the clouds from the mouth, and all that.
The Conservancy gets its support from the Trust, but is calling on more donors to come to their aid and assist them in this battle to save their livestock and livelihoods.
The women in this Conservancy are committed to reclaiming back their land in hopes that where the Opuntia plant grows today, the grass for their livestock will grow in the future days. Isufar reporting for KBC Channel 1 from the Naibunga Conservancy, Laikipia County.
All right, James Kibor from right here in Nairobi is saying insightful feature there by Yusufara from Laikipia County. I couldn't agree more. Of course, all hope now is pegged on that sap-sucking insect just to alleviate some of the issues that pastoralist communities are facing there with regards to that thorny Opuntia plant. Quite informative feature there, Yusufara. Now let's move on with the COVID-19 situation in the country. Kenya has now recorded 112 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours from a sample size of 2,214, bringing the positivity rate to 5.1%. The total confirmed cases now stand at 325,554. Nairobi bears the biggest burden of the disease with 91 cases. Kitui County recorded 10 cases. Murang'a recorded 6, while Kiambu and Kericho counties recorded 3 and 2 cases respectively. Now, internationally, a fire and a huge explosion have killed at least 49 people and injured hundreds more at a storage depot near the city of Chittagong, Bangladesh. Hundreds of people have arrived to help put out the fire when a number of shipping containers exploded at the site in Sitakunda. It is thought that chemicals were stored in some of the containers.
Around 4,000 containers were stored at the depot in Sitakunda, which is around 40 kilometers from Chittagong, Bangladesh's main seaport and second largest city. Many of the injured are said to be in critical condition, and the number of people killed is expected to rise. A regional government official say the depot also contained millions of dollars of garments waiting to be exported to Western retailers. Elsewhere, a number of explosions shook parts of Kyiv early Sunday in the first assault on Ukraine's capital for weeks. Columns of black smoke could be seen above the city after the attack, and at least one person was hurt. Russia claims it targeted a site storing tanks supplied by Europe, but Ukraine says rocket hit a train repair plant where no tanks were held. Russian President Vladimir Putin said they will hit new targets if the West carried through with its promise of sending the weapons to Ukraine. And in Britain, millions of people are taking part in the final day of street parties and celebration for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. A huge pageant is taking place against the backdrop of Buckingham Palace, involving 10,000 people, including the military, performance and key workers. Many have turned up in hopes of seeing the Queen make an appearance. Elvis Otieno for Prime Edition.
All right, thank you, Elvis, for that. Now, that story takes us to another break right here on Sunday Express. We are coming back with more. Richard Munga will be taking you through the latest from the world of sports. Don't go too far.
Top sports attractions on KBC Channel 1. In July, Kenya Morans face off against the DRC, Egypt and Senegal in the FIBA Basketball World Cup African qualifiers in Alexandria, Egypt from 1st to 3rd of July 2022. Also in July, Kenya plays South Africa in Rugby League test matches in Nairobi with the return fixtures set for October. Still in July, watch the World Athletic Championships from 15th to 24th July live from Oregon, USA as Kenyan athletes seek glory. Followed by the 22nd Commonwealth Games from 28th July to 8th August live from Birmingham, England. In August, join our coverage of the World Athletics Under-20 Championships from the 1st to 6th of August 2022 from Cali, Colombia. Then, in November, catch the World Half Marathon Championships on 13th November from Yangzhou, China. Now that's what sets us apart as KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Well, Tusker, of course, extends the lead on the KPL table. Wales qualifies for the World Cup for the first time in 64 years. Well, Nadal extends his record to 22 Grand Slam titles. That and more coming up in a news bulletin, in a sports news bulletin. But first, KPL, whereby the defending champions Tusker FC are still perched at the summit of the KPL standings after a comfortable 2-0 win over Bidco United in a match played at the Kasarani Annex Stadium. Meanwhile, second-place Kakamega Homeboys got a walkover after Atlanta FC failed to show up for the encounter at the Ruaraka Stadium.
Rogers Ouma gave defending champions Tusker FC the lead in the 64th minute. Lawrence Luvanda ensured the Brewers bagged maximum points after scoring the second goal in the 74th minute.
Ya, tulijua first half, tulijua pia Bidco inataka kubaki kwa position nzuri na tulikuwa ni game ngumu. So sisi ni kama motivation factor kwa wakifunga Tusker kama wakidraw wamefurahi. So ilikuwa ngumu, lakini tulijua second half ile energy wametumia first half wangeweza kumanage pia second half hivi. And then tuliweka pia watu wepesi nje wakija ku open game. Na tumemanage kupata ushindi through those substitutes that we make.
I think first half tulikuwa more organized in terms of the way tulikuwa na defend. We were more organized. Second half kidogo lapses the defense line again. Tuna concede 2 goals, very easy goals. Again, congratulations to Tusker. I think second half wamekuwa more determined than us. Then wamepata ushindi. So tuna congratulate tu.
Elsewhere, former champions Gor Mahia were held to a 1-1 draw by visitors Nzoia Sugar. Levis Okelo scored for Nzoia Sugar, while Samuel Onyango ensured that Gor Mahia walked away with a point. In other matches, Kakamega Homeboys got a walkover after Talanta FC failed to show up for their encounter at Ruaraka Stadium, while Kenya Police humbled Vihiga Bullets 4-1 at Bukungu Stadium.
Oh, thank you, Dan Mwenda, for that report. Moving on, Makini School Sports Academy and Seahorses Aquatic Center bagged a lion's share of medals on day 3 of the NCAA Swimming Gala Championship that was held at the Makini School in Nairobi. The 3-day event brought together a total of 25 teams.
Neo Olenko from Seahorses Aquatic Center won the boys 10 to 11 years 100 meters butterfly ahead of Nathan Waziri and Ryan Mukoto, who came in second and third respectively.
We need to start at getting our swimmers into training. The schools have got their role as well in terms of imparting education and also co-curricular activities. So we'll definitely urge the parents and the schools and plus the association to work together so that we can be able to have a platform where these children can be able to learn these skills.
It's actually a big event considering that we have over 1,500 to about 1,900 participants, which is actually big. So far, so good. We have very good competition. The races are progressing well. I've done a few events and I'm enjoying it. But of course, the competition is there, hoping to get better at my times and having fun. That's what's important at the end of the day as well.
Auntry Langat won the girls 14 to 15 years 400 meters freestyle ahead of Kagure Maina and Alia Wemba, who completed the top 3 positions.
Training has decreased because I recently joined class 7 and I stay in school till 5:30, so I go for training from about 6 to 7. So I train on Sundays now, and I'm trying my hardest and pushing towards the next Gala.
Over 25 teams took part in the NCAA Swimming Gala, which also acted as a season ender. For Sunday Express, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Also, Dr. Kipkirui Langat is the winner of the 9th leg of the Safaricom Golf Tour held at the South Rift Spa 70 Kericho Golf Course, playing off handicap 20. The Kericho-based golfer posted 40 Stableford points in a 4-ball tournament, courtesy of 6 pars and several bogeys to claim the title, ahead of his closest challenger, Rasta Zurina, who finished second with 39 points. Among the lady golfers playing off handicap 19, Kericho's lady captain Eunice Correa emerged victorious, having carried 37 points, while Helen Koech claimed the second spot with 35 points. The series now moves to Kitale Golf Club on June 11th for the 10th leg.
When it is a tournament of this nature, you know you have great players, you have experienced players coming from all over the country, and you know you're going to put your best, but the expectation of winning was not there. I was surprised that I became the winner.
Internationally, Rafael Nadal reclaimed his crown as the king of the French Open, winning a record-extending 14th title by beating Norway's Kasper Ruud in straight sets. Spain's Nadal won 6-3, 6-3 and 6-love against Norwegian 8th seed Ruud to also extend his record number of Grand Slam men's singles titles to 22. He moves 2 ahead of his great rivals Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic. Nadal, who lost to Djokovic in the semi-finals last year, has won 112 of his 115 matches on the Paris clay. After also winning in the Australian Open in January, Nadal has claimed back-to-back major titles for the first time since 2010, when he won the French Open, Wimbledon and US Open in a row. Well, that's all the time we had for sports, and as I pointed out earlier on, Wales, of course, qualifying for the World Cup for the first time in 64 years means that they are now in Group B of the World Cup, which is set to kick off in November, that is on the 21st, and they will kick off their first match in 64 years in the World Cup against the United States. Well, that wraps up sports for us tonight. Richard Munga, anything you can add on to that, Serfine?
All right, and that's how we wrap it up. Thank you for the update, and of course also just Sheila Kinyi from Kisumu County appreciating the story that was done with our editor Caroline Kamau concerning a dilapidated school in Laikipia County, and of course many of you who have taken time to interact with us on social media. Philip Kego from Nandi County, Ronnie Onyango from right here in Nairobi, and Millicent Wanjiru from Kiambu. Thank you so much for creating time for us and for interacting with us on social media. That's how we wrap it up on Sunday Express. Have a good night and God bless. My name is Safina Achieng Oma, and our sign language interpreter has been Susan Duko.
Have a good night.